What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is 39 wins, no loss and no draw, 30 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. He's currently heading into the biggest fight of his career, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, as he's going to face off against undefeated, unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not #1, definitely top 5, pound for pound, best fighters in the world, in Earl the Truth Spence Jr. Earl Spence Jr. has 28 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. So he has a half inch, about an inch or a half inch taller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has a 2-inch arm reach advantage. With that said, they make for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, okay? It's an undefeated, undisputed welterweight showdown. It's the biggest fight in 40 years. Huge fight. Terence Crawford, not looking past Errol Spence, also had his sights set on another mega fight in the near future, which is against Errol Spence's close friend, stablemate, and training partner, and 3-time junior middleweight world champion, who is the undisputed junior middleweight world champion, and widely should be considered top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world, and Jermell Ironman Charlo. Jermell Charlo is 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'11.5" with a 73.5-inch arm reach. Now, Jermell Charlo is a 154-pound, undisputed, no doubt the best fighter in his division. And Terence Crawford had his sights set on a fight with Jermell Charlo, should he get past Errol Spence Jr., which is obviously a huge task in front of Terence Crawford that he's not looking past. But obviously, he's focused on bolstering his career and becoming a 3-time undisputed 3-division world champion. That's historic. He was undisputed at 140. Undisputed if he beats Errol Spence in July. He'll be undisputed at 147. And then to go up and fight Jermell Charlo for all the marbles, he'll be undisputed at 154. 3-division undisputed world champion. Historic. Cements his legacy. Arguably, some may say top 10 pound for pound best fighters in the world in history. Right? But shockingly, out of nowhere, we get information that Jermell Charlo is venturing to new heights. He's going into untamed territory. He's going to jump up 2 weight classes, and he's going to challenge 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who's widely considered the face of the sport of boxing, and is the undisputed super middleweight world champion, in Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is 59 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 going on 33 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. Shockingly, out of nowhere, Jermell Charlo is going to face Canelo Alvarez. Now, he called for this fight after Canelo Alvarez Cinco de Mayo May 6th showdown with John Ryder in his hometown in Mexico, Aztec Stadium. He called for this fight. Jermell Charlo said, man, let's do undisputed versus undisputed. At the time, Canelo Alvarez was with Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn in DAZN. So he said, tell Eddie Hearn to contact us. Let's do undisputed versus undisputed. Nobody thought that was realistic. And then it came out of nowhere that Canelo Alvarez decided to sign a 3-fight deal with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman, Showtime President Sports Steven Espinosa. Came out of nowhere. And then it was widely expected to see Canelo Alvarez faced Jermell Charlo's identical twin brother, who was undefeated 2-division world champion and the reigning WBC World Boxing Council middleweight world champion superstar boxer Jermell Lions Only Charlo. Jermell Charlo is considered Big Charlo because he's slightly bigger. Jermell Charlo is 32 wins, no loss and no draw. 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, obviously, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. So he's a half-inch taller than Jermell and has a half-inch arm reach advantage over Jermell. So it was widely expected to see Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez in September 16th. But they moved the date back to September 30th. And I suspect because Jermell Charlo eventually came out and stated that he hasn't fought in 2 years. Last time we saw Jermell Charlo was June of 2021. So he hasn't fought in 2 years, Jermell Charlo. So I suspect that Jermell Charlo was trying to buy time and have more time. Canelo Alvarez historically fights on 2 dates. Cinco de Mayo weekend, the first weekend in May, and the second weekend in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend. Those are 2 major holidays for the Mexican culture, and he typically fights on those days, historically. And Jermell Charlo eventually came out and said, I just can't make it. I can't do it. And so, shockingly, Jermell Charlo stepped in. Well, not shockingly, because we know Jermell Charlo is a dog, but Jermell Charlo stepped in and stepped up to the challenge, and he's now going to fight Canelo Alvarez. It was expected that Canelo Alvarez, if he wasn't going to fight Jermell, that it just made sense that he would fight the undefeated 2-time WBC super middleweight world champion, Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer David the Mexican Monster Benavidez, who is 27 wins, no loss, no draw, 23 big wins by way of knockout. He is 26 years of age, 6 feet 2 with a 75-inch arm reach, who is the WBC World Boxing Council #1 mandatory challenger for Canelo Alvarez's belt. And his team pleaded with the WBC at their convention to make sure they uphold their position and give David Benavidez his opportunity, which they simply did not. And now Canelo Alvarez is going to fight 154 pounds. So, with that said, Terence Crawford's hopes of fighting Jermell Charlo has just went by the wayside. It's not going to happen. Okay? Terence Crawford fighting Jermell Charlo is simply not going to happen. Right? Because Jermell Charlo is going to go up to 168. Maybe it's at a catchweight. We don't know the details yet. It might be at a catchweight. Nonetheless, Canelo Alvarez is not going past 165, 164. Maybe they had a catchweight of 164. Canelo Alvarez is not going no further than 164. Okay? And he understands, Canelo Alvarez understands that Jermell Charlo, he fights at 154, but he's still a bigger fighter than Canelo Alvarez, at nearly 6 feet tall with nearly a 74-inch arm reach, just like Jermell Charlo. They're identical twin brothers. Canelo Alvarez is 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. Jermell Charlo still has a 3.5-inch arm reach advantage and a 3.5 height advantage. And his frame is physically bigger than Canelo Alvarez. So he's still the bigger guy. Canelo Alvarez understands that. He's not going to allow Jermell Charlo to have any type of advantages. And so he's going to drag him at the very least to 164, 165. Right? And he's the cash cow, the face of boxing. And so with that said, there's simply no way possible that you're going to see Canelo Alvarez come down past 164. So that means Jermell Charlo at the very least is going to 164. That's still 2 weight classes above his 154 pound. And he beats Canelo Alvarez, they're more than likely going to have a rematch clause, which means if he beats Canelo, he's going to have to rematch Canelo. He's going to grow out of 154. And Terence Crawford is not going to jump over 154 to go to 160. That's not going to happen. So with that said, Terence Crawford responds and he says, it's unfortunate, but boxing, the sport of boxing, is on fire. Definitely lit right now. So Terence Crawford obviously has a huge task in front of him. He has to beat Errol Spence twice because they have a rematch clause. So he beats Errol Spence the first time. They're going to rematch at, if he beats Errol Spence at 147, they're going to rematch at the very least at 154. So we have to see what happens with the belts with Jermell Charlo. Is he going to vacate the belts? Right? But the fact that we're not going to see Terence Crawford and Jermell Charlo. That's not going to happen, people. It's just simply not. It's expired. It went by the wayside. Terence Crawford's not going to jump up 2 weight classes, and Jermell Charlo's not coming back down. Now, maybe if Jermell Charlo loses to Jermell Charlo loses to Canelo Alvarez, he might come back down to 160, but he ain't coming down to 54. I'm hard pressed to see him come down to 54. So we lost the fight with Jermell Charlo and Terence Crawford. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.